Hello internet peoples and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how I make my fresh turmeric latte, which uses fresh turmeric, fresh ginger, cardamom, maple syrup, black pepper and a milk of your choice. So it's really simple to make, and you can sub any of the fresh ingredients for the powdered version. Just do it to taste, experiment, see what you like. When I don't have fresh turmeric in, I do just use powdered turmeric, because I don't often have fresh turmeric in, but it is my favourite way to make this. And if you can't tell, I've already cut it, which is why my hands are now yellow, at least in part. Just like there. So the tools you're going to need for this are of course a knife to cut things, a spoon to peel, or a knife, you can use whichever you prefer, a saucepan, and a blender. If you're not doing the fresh version of this though, you don't really need the blender, you can just whisk things together. The blender's just to make sure that everything is combined as smoothly as possible. The recipe I'm doing today is for about 2 cups of this. Of course, I'm only gonna drink 1, so I'll just put the rest in the fridge to have later or tomorrow, probably not later, and then it'll all be ready for me, and I just need to put it in a pan and heat it up. You could probably use a milk steamer for this, but I don't have one, so I just heat everything in the pan, pointing that way because that's where my stove is. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. I will do my best to film like what I am doing so that you can get a good idea of how to do this, because that of course is the intended purpose. And then I will see you when we have a complete drink. So the first thing that you're going to want to make sure you have is your milk. I'm going to be using Oatly and oat milk, but you can use any milk you like. The next thing is about 1 to 1.5 inches of fresh turmeric. You can use less, you could probably use more if you wanted. This is just my preference and it makes 2 cups. You're also going to need 1/2 inch to 1 inch of ginger. Also make sure you have the seeds from a few cardamom pods. I've got the seeds of about 3 here. Make sure you pick up the maple syrup of your choice. I'm going to just be using this one from Morrison's, but you can use any. And then just a little bit of black pepper to help make the turmeric do its anti-inflammatory magic. So the first thing we're going to want to do is peel the turmeric and the ginger. You don't actually need to peel the turmeric, I've been told, but I always have done, so that's what we're going to do today. And then once you've peeled those, you can chop them up. Don't worry about doing it too finely because it is going to be blended, but the finer, the quicker it'll blend. If you'd like to, you could also crush up the cardamom seeds using the back of a spoon. It doesn't really matter if you're using a high-powered blender, but again, makes it quicker. And although I have a couple of peppercorns here, I'm actually just going to use my peppercorn grinder rather than put these in whole. One ingredient that I have been completely forgetting is cinnamon. You're going to need just a little bit of cinnamon. I tend to use about 1/2 teaspoon for 2 cups. Once you've prepared everything, we're going to start putting it all in the blender. The first thing that you want to do is measure out your milk. I'm going to be pouring it into the cup I'm actually going to drink this from so that I make sure I've got my measurement right. And as this is a 2-cup recipe, I'm going to do that twice. Then you can start putting in all of the rest of your ingredients. So put in your chopped up turmeric, your chopped up ginger, your crushed cardamom seeds, a little bit of ground pepper, and probably about 3 teaspoons of maple syrup. This is again to taste. I just happen to like things really sweet, so I may even amp it up to 4. And of course add in 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, because I keep forgetting that, and you definitely don't want to forget that because it's really tasty. Once everything's in the blender, make sure that you put the lid on, power it up, and turn it on. Keep this blending until everything is smooth and combined. It should start to look a little bit yellow once it gets to this point. And then after that, you can just pour it into the pan that you're going to be using, turn that on, and heat it up. I use a whisk to keep everything moving. I don't particularly like it to stay too still. And it just makes sure that everything is still combined, which is probably just a paranoid thing for me because I used a blender, so everything is very well combined. You could use a thermometer to check this. I just taste test it with a spoon, and once it's the right temperature, take it off the heat, pour it into your favourite mug, the one that we measured the milk out into, and you are done. And that is how I make my turmeric latte. It is a little on the strong side in terms of flavour, so if you like to have more subtle flavours, I would definitely recommend cutting back on a few of the ingredients. But if you like things strong, this is the way to go. If you have any questions about this or anything else, or if there's any videos you would like me to make, please write them down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And of course, if you're interested, do all of that YouTubey stuff, like the video, Subscribe, but don't feel obligated to. If you don't want to, you don't want to. And if you're interested in what else I'm doing, I do post fairly regularly to Instagram, and the link for that is in the description below. I've also put the recipe for this in the description below, so you don't have to rewatch every time. But if you want to rewatch it, that's totally fine. So I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna have this. I made pasties yesterday, so I'm gonna have that for lunch. And then I think I might spend the rest of my afternoon doing nice, quiet, cozy things, like my tax return. When I post this, I'll already have submitted my tax return. Not looking forward to doing that. No. So thank you for watching, my lovely internet peoples. I will see you soon, and have a good however long it takes till my next video. Bye.